The film Love, Betrayal and More centers on the intertwined lives of two couples from vastly different backgrounds in Istanbul. The narrative opens with Rüzgar, a young man who works as a bartender and part-time taxi driver. He's a bit of a hothead, getting into a fight at his bar over a misunderstanding and ultimately losing his job. He's also trying to save up enough money to get his motorcycle back from his boss. His friend Fede is a bit of a smooth talker and is trying to impress a woman named Is by pretending to be rich and successful. Fede's elaborate lie involves him and Rüzgar starting a fake construction company, a claim that Rüzgar is not entirely on board with. Meanwhile, we're introduced to Hayal, a law student from an affluent family, and her sister Sarah. Hayal is being pressured by her parents, particularly her father, to follow in his footsteps and become a lawyer, even though her true passion is painting. Hayal and her friend Is are at a party when they run into Oguz, a persistent admirer of Hayal's. Hayal has no interest in Oguz, but her parents see him as a suitable match. The paths of Rüzgar and Hayal cross when Is, bored with her date, calls Fede. Fede, in a rush to maintain his facade, asks Rüzgar to pick up Is. This leads to a car accident, a misunderstanding, and a series of sarcastic exchanges between the two. Hayal is initially put off by Rüzgar's rough demeanor, but she's also intrigued by his honesty, a stark contrast to the people in her own social circle. The two of them have a few more chance encounters, including one where Rüzgar gives Hayal his hoodie after she gets soaked in the rain. The plot thickens when Fede, continuing his lies, invites Is and her friend to a house party. He tells Hayal that Rüzgar will also be there. Hayal, still wary of her friend's questionable choices, agrees to go with the understanding that they'll leave in an hour. When they arrive, Fede introduces Rüzgar as his business partner. The lie unravels quickly when Hayal recognizes Rüzgar as the bartender she met earlier. She's upset by the deception and confronts Fede and Rüzgar. This leads to a heated argument and a physical confrontation between Rüzgar and Oguz, who also shows up at the party. The conflict between the two men intensifies, leading to a motorcycle race with Rüzgar's bike as the prize. Rüzgar wins, but not before a dramatic confrontation where he reveals to Hayal that he's not the rich businessman he and Fede pretended to be. Hayal is upset by the lie, but she's also drawn to his sincerity. The two of them spend more time together and their relationship develops. Rüzgar teaches Hayal to ride a bike and they share a few intimate moments. The movie explores themes of class differences, family expectations, and the nature of love. Hayal's parents are against her relationship with Rüzgar, believing he is not a suitable partner for their daughter. They see him as a nobody and a bad influence. Despite their disapproval, Hayal and Rüzgar's connection deepens. He admits that he doesn't know what love is, but that he's terrified of losing her. The film ends with a powerful scene where Rüzgar climbs up to Hayal's window to see her, a grand gesture that solidifies their bond despite the obstacles they face. The movie concludes on a hopeful note, suggesting that their love can overcome the barriers of class and social expectations. Fede's charade continues to cause problems not just for him but for those around him. He tries to impress Is with his supposed connections to a fast-paced, high-stakes world, but his lies are fragile. Rüzgar, a man of simple truths and hard work, is constantly pulled into Fede's schemes against his better judgment. This dynamic creates a significant rift between the two friends as Rüzgar resents being used to prop up Fede's fictional life. The tension escalates during the party when the truth about their financial situation and Rüzgar's real job comes to light. This public embarrassment fuels the already existing animosity between Rüzgar and Oguz, a rivalry born from their contrasting social standing and their shared interest in Hayal. Hayal's journey is one of self-discovery and rebellion. She is torn between the life her parents have planned for her, a predictable path of law school, a successful career, and a suitable partner like Oguz, and her own desires. Her true passion for painting and her growing feelings for Rüzgar represent a defiance of her family's strict class-conscious worldview. Rüzgar, with his unfiltered honesty and raw vulnerability, offers her a glimpse of a different kind of life, one based on genuine emotion rather than societal expectations. His admission that he's afraid of losing her reveals a softer side beneath his tough exterior, a sentiment that resonates deeply with Hayal, who feels suffocated by the controlled environment of her upbringing. Their relationship becomes a battleground for her freedom as she fights against her parents' attempts to dictate her choices, proving that their connection is more than just a fleeting romance. It's a symbol of her fight for independence. Following their first night together, Rüzgar and Hayal's relationship deepens, but it is quickly put to the test. Rüzgar is haunted by his past and attempts to confess a dark secret to Hayal, but she dismisses it, not wanting to dwell on things that happened before she knew him. They share a tender moment swimming together at night, a symbol of their growing intimacy and trust. At the same time, Hayal's parents, particularly her father Erden, grow increasingly concerned about her relationship with Rüzgar. Erden confronts Rüzgar, revealing that he knows about his past, which includes a tragic accident involving a gun. He warns Rüzgar to stay away from his daughter, threatening to expose his secrets to her if he doesn't comply. This revelation of Rüzgar's troubled history is a heavy burden for him, and Erden's threats make him believe he is too dangerous and tainted for Hayal. Meanwhile, Fede is revealed to be a close friend of Rüzgar's and is also aware of his past. He tries to convince Rüzgar to ignore Erden's threats and fight for his love for Hayal, but Rüzgar is too afraid of hurting her. He believes he is a jinx, a person who brings pain to everyone he loves, as he did to his mother. In a flashback, we learn that Rüzgar's mother was shot and killed during a domestic dispute between his parents when he was a child. The film reveals that his father Sezgin was a police officer who accidentally shot his wife. To save himself from a life in prison, he coerced his young son Rüzgar into taking the blame, telling him it was an accident and that he would only serve a short time in a juvenile detention center. This traumatic event and the betrayal by his father left Rüzgar with deep emotional scars and a feeling of being a disgusting person. This past, which he has carried for years, is the reason he pushes Hayal away. Hayal's mother Sarah also tries to intervene, organizing a family vacation to Europe to get Hayal away from Rüzgar. But Hayal sees through her mother's attempts and refuses to go, declaring her love for Rüzgar and her refusal to let her parents dictate her life. This open defiance leads to a bitter fight between Hayal and her mother. Hayal's unwavering love for Rüzgar, despite her family's objections, shows her inner strength and determination. Rüzgar, convinced that he is a danger to Hayal, breaks up with her over the phone. He tells her that he cannot commit to anyone and that their relationship was nothing more than a passing fancy. Hayal is devastated and furious. She believes that Rüzgar is a coward for giving up on their love so easily. A month later, Fede, refusing to let his friend suffer, confronts Rüzgar. He pushes Rüzgar to fight for Hayal to not be a coward like his own father and to embrace the love he feels. Fede's words ignite a fire in Rüzgar, who decides he will no longer run from his feelings or his past. He is determined to win Hayal back. Hayal, meanwhile, is still heartbroken. She is approached by Mert, an old high school acquaintance who confesses his long-held crush on her. She politely declines his advances, still pining for Rüzgar. When Rüzgar finally finds her and tries to talk to her, she is initially cold and angry. He confesses his dark past, the truth about his mother's death and his father's betrayal. He tells her that he is a disgusting person who is afraid of ruining her life. Hayal is shocked but also heartbroken to hear the truth. She tells him that she understands but that she cannot be with him, believing their love is fated to fail. The film reveals that Hayal has been battling a terminal illness. In a powerful scene, she confronts her parents, telling them that she is tired of fighting her sickness and does not want to continue her treatment. She tearfully reveals her desire to live freely for whatever time she has left, no matter how short. She expresses her exhaustion with her parents' constant control and her desire for self-determination. This is the truth behind her family's attempts to control her life, though they were too afraid to tell her. Rüzgar learns about Hayal's illness and her decision to stop treatment. He is devastated and filled with regret. He realizes that her time is limited and he has wasted precious moments with her. In a poignant and heart-wrenching climax, Rüzgar organizes a surprise for Hayal. He takes her to a stage and encourages her to sing, fulfilling her dream of performing for an audience. She sings a beautiful melancholic song about a love that is not enough for a single moment. She expresses her gratitude to Rüzgar for making her feel alive and for helping her find her voice. The scene is filled with both joy and sadness as they realize the preciousness of their time together. After their beautiful evening, Hayal collapses. Rüzgar takes her to a place where they can be together. She dies in his arms, leaving Rüzgar to mourn her loss. In the aftermath, Hayal's family receives a letter from her, a last gift from their daughter. She apologizes for not being able to stay with them longer and expresses her gratitude for their love. The letter encourages them to live their lives to the fullest and to not be afraid to follow their dreams. Hayal's parents, having learned from their mistakes, buy her sister Sarah a painting kit, finally encouraging her to pursue her passion. Rüzgar, now alone, receives a letter from Hayal. In it, she tells him that their love was a breath of fresh air for her, that he helped her feel alive. She encourages him to let go of the anger he holds for his father and to forgive him. She asks him to continue living his life to the fullest, to love again and to remember her as a love that will always be with him, just a breath away. Rüzgar finally takes his place behind the bar which Levent has left for him. The film ends with Rüzgar looking out at the world, ready to live his life freely just as Hayal had wished. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.